Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us for another edition of the Israel Brief, brought to you by Lay of the Land. I'm Rolene Marks, your host, bringing you the top stories from Israel every Monday to Wednesday on this very platform. And if you are watching on Facebook, we would love it if you share our content. We are currently being restricted, so we need your help in getting news from Israel out to as many people as possible. And don't forget, we're also on YouTube. You can find our channel at the Israel Brief, and all you have to do is click on the big red subscribe button to be notified every time we post our brief. So let's look at those top stories making headlines. And earlier today, Israel announced that we would be opening up vaccinations to all citizens from the age of 16 and up. Israel has already vaccinated over 3 million of our citizens. And we have it confirmed that Palestinian health workers have started to receive their vaccines. And this is from the 5,000 vaccines earmarked for Palestinians, specifically for health workers that have come from Israel. Also today, the coronavirus cabinet will meet to discuss maybe do we extend restrictions or do we start to lift out of our lockdown? Last night, Prime Minister Netanyahu addressed the nation and said that the lockdown will start to lift from next week, albeit in stages. However, yesterday, 10,000 people attended a funeral in the Arab town of Tamra. A student nurse was killed in the crossfire between police and organized crime. In other news, on Monday, we brought you the story that somebody who is very special to not just all of us here at Lay of the Land, but many of you around the world, Captain Sir Tom Moore. We brought you the story that he was fighting COVID-19 in a hospital in the UK. And sadly, Captain Sir Tom has passed away at the age of 100. And I'm going to try and get through this without tearing up. But we want to take a moment just to pay tribute to this very special centenarian who set out to raise £100 for Britain's NHS for the excellent care that they gave him and his wife. He then set a target for 1,000, and several months later, or several weeks actually later, he managed to exceed that, raising none other than over £30 million for Britain's NHS service, making him the highest or the biggest solo fundraiser in the history of that country. He was promoted by the British Army from captain to colonel, and even Her Majesty the Queen knighted him. And he was somebody who was so beloved for everybody. He really was a beacon of light in a time of great despair and darkness for many of us around the world, including right here in Israel, where we watched with such love and admiration how he managed, with a simple act of walking up and down his garden, to raise an incredible amount of money. And not only that, inspire many others around the world to find their own ways to raise funds for charity. Our thoughts are with his family, and we will always take the memory of this extraordinary man who taught us all that tomorrow will be a good day. Well, right now we think a bright light has gone out in our world, but we will always take strength from the inspiring Captain Sir Tom and his incredible words. May you rest in peace, Captain Sir Tom. We salute you. In other news, we now go to the United States, where Jewish organizations have applauded the Biden administration's statement that they embrace and champion the IHRA definition of anti-Semitism. The Biden administration have reiterated their concern for rising levels of anti-Semitism and given the assurance that they will do everything in their power to fight it. And this comes courtesy of the Department of State. In other news with regards to the Biden administration, people have wondered, has the president called Prime Minister Netanyahu? Well, he is scheduled to very, very soon, and I'm sure on this long list of topics to discuss will be Iran. And the Biden administration has also reiterated that their first priority before discussing any kind of deal with the Iranians is speaking to allies in the region to look at the best way forward while maintaining very important regional security. And our final story for the day stays in the United States. And in honor of Black History Month, 170 Black and Jewish Hollywood stars have joined together to form the Black Jewish Alliance. The aim of this is to highlight rising racism and anti-Semitism and find ways for both communities to work together to combat this. The Black community and the Jewish community have a long history from the civil rights movement and even before that of working together to champion each other's civil and human rights. And the list of celebrities includes luminaries such as Nick Cannon, Oscar winner Louis Gossett Jr., Sharon Osbourne, Mayim Bialik, Jerry Seinfeld, Kiss singer Gene Simmons, who himself was born in Israel, and many, many others. And you are able to subscribe to the newsletter and to subscribe to materials from the community by looking for the Black Jewish Alliance online. So those are the top stories making headlines today in Israel. And don't forget that you can check out our original content while you're in lockdown or on restrictions. You can find us at www.layoftheland.online. Don't forget there are two excellent articles up at the moment, one from Gabe Groisman about how Jews fought back during the Holocaust, and another from NGO Monitor's Sean Sachs debunking those lies from NGO B'Tselem. You can also find them on our Facebook page. It's all up there along with a tribute to Captain Sir Tom Moore. And while you're there, please join our growing community by giving us a like, a follow, and sharing this very content. We've told you about that YouTube channel at the Israel Brief, and interact with us on Twitter as well, where you can find us at Lay of the Land 5. So with the Wednesday edition of the Israel Brief, I'm Rolene Marks, wishing you good health wherever you are, and we'll chat again tomorrow.